Hey there, welcome back to the realm of history. It's been a minute since we've been on, but this is an important one. So, welcome back. We've got the last quiz of the year, chapter 31. So, I want to make sure that we get a good review session in. I've got some selected key terms, key figures, key concepts for you. We'll talk a little bit about question and answer. We've got some results from the review game from Friday that I kept you under the dark about. But we're going to take a look at a couple things, starting off with the live agenda. Number one, I would strongly suggest that you write things down from this session. And then furthermore, getting ready for tomorrow, I think you should read through your outline several times, maybe one more time tonight, one time in the morning. If you have me in the afternoon, maybe one more time in seminar. Reading AMSCO, still important, even though there's no AP. You want to keep up with that. You've really got to read the rest of 7 and then 8 and 9 kind of on your own by May 11th. So you've got about 12 days. That's ample time to get a lot of reading done. Make sure that you're taking advantage of that. Number 2, hey, as we always say on our live reviews, you got to pray for the right things. Don't pray for success on this quiz. You know, this quiz in the grand scheme of things is very minuscule. Please pray for the health and safety of your families. Please pray for your health and safety, the health and safety of your friends. But one thing you could ask the good Lord for is maybe a little bit of a blessing to guide you to use your talents to the fullest. I think that's all we can ever ask. And then I think that it's important to say the prayer of gratitude, thanking the good Lord for all the blessings that he's bestowed upon you and upon all of us. We're really so fortunate to be able to be doing this, thinking about what else is going on in the world and the struggles that people are having. Number 3, we need to be here now. I think it's more imperative now than ever that we're focused mentally on the task at hand. And the task at hand right now is getting ready for the AP exam. Chapter 31 is a building block to that exam. Okay, so you got to understand that when we're learning about the roaring 20s and the Great Depression and the stock market crash, those are things that you're going to need to know to implement onto the AP exam. So everything that we do is gearing us toward that philosophy. Number 4, I say this one every time, but make sure that you're thanking your parents. If you need to go do that now, that would be more important than anything else. Make sure you tell your parents thank you for all of the things that they do for you. You are so blessed. You're so very fortunate. You know, I'm a parent, and I'm lucky that I have a wonderful wife that does a lot for my kids while I'm off at track practice and missing a lot of things, or I'm at track meets. But, you know, being a parent, it's a lot. And so until you get to that point, I don't think you really can comprehend that. So make sure that you're saying thank you and expressing that gratitude to your parents. Number 5, I really want you to meet the challenge. This is your last quiz of the year. I mean, it's a normal quiz. I'm not going to make it any harder, not going to make it any easier. So you just want to make sure that you are fully ready. And that challenge is always there. You know, I try to challenge you on these quiz papers, try to make sure that you are getting a little bit of a challenge so you push yourself. I believe in that. So make sure that you rise to the occasion tomorrow and make sure that you're trying to ball out of control. We're looking for key ballers, ace ballers, no space ballers, right? Okay, I'm going to freestyle here for a minute. Just want to talk with you about a couple of important things before we get into the key terms. First thing I want to tell you is just, I think it's important, and this is our last kind of live review for a quiz, just to tell you how lucky I am to have had all of you as students. It's really important to me that you know that you know how much I love and care about you. I hope that I've shown that to you. Sometimes in challenging you and trying to keep you in line in class, maybe I get a little bit harsh, but please know that it's always coming from a place of care, and it's always coming from a place of compassion deep down inside. So, you know, I'm really starting to think about how this year is coming to a close and how there's not much time left. So our time is getting short, and it's very bittersweet for me because I really want to prepare you for junior year, but also I'm going to miss you guys. So, you know, I think that's something that I need to say, and I'm really blessed because I can say that I love my job, but really the only reason I can say that I love my job is because of my students and the realm, which is a family to me. And I hope you understand that the realm is a family forever. Just because you go to junior year or senior year, like you see some of those guys still coming back. And that's because I want this to be a family. So you can feel free as you go forward to always come back. You're still part of the realm. You're still a key baller if you get through my class and pass. And so I think there's a lot to be said for that. I want to share a story with you. I get really how you want to call it, superstitious about things. So this whole year, every live review, I've used this same pencil. It actually broke, you can see right here. So I had to tape it. So for me, I take everything that seriously. I have to use the same pencil because I think it's going to bring me some type of luck. It's not, it doesn't change anything what pencil I'm using, but the fact of the matter is that the amount of care that you put in is important. And so I hope that I've shown you that. This pencil made it through the whole year. This is my live review pencil, taped it up. It still made it. So hopefully I can use that one next year as well if it doesn't break again. But something happened today where it's little things in the Realm family just make my day or make your day. So I was at sporting goods shop and trying to buy a tent because the track team tent broke. Okay. And I'm going to get to the key terms in a second, but as I'm walking out, I'm walking in this big, huge parking lot, and I hear from all the way across the parking lot, Mr. Lango. And I look, I don't see anybody. And then all of a sudden I see somebody waving at me and I wave back. I don't know who it is. I have pretty good eyes, but I wasn't sure who it was. So I get in my car and I drive over. Turns out it's a group of my students celebrating a birthday party. And it just made my day. So it's just little things like that that just keep you going, keep you positive, and just make your job worthwhile. But I will say that they were celebrating a birthday party and they were in Novi, right? They were not in Commerce, okay, Novi. So take note of that, Commerce Crips group. It was definitely in Novi celebrating a birthday because everybody knows there's nothing to do in Commerce, but a lot to do in Novi. Okay, let's get into the key terms, the key places, and the key figures, starting off with a term from Germany called Lebensraum. Lebensraum is the expansion of the German living space. This was this idea of Hitler that German people needed more living space. And so he wants to go out and conquer nearby countries and territories to expand that living space. That's really what you want to know for tomorrow's quiz regarding Lebensraum. All right, this next one is a term called Mein Kampf. It's another German term. It actually translates to My Struggle. And it was the title of a book written by Hitler while he was in prison. And the basis of this book was basically his plans for Germany's future, like what he was going to do during World War I. Some of the anti-Semitic Holocaust ideas were also in Mein Kampf. So this basically laid out his plans for what he was going to do as the Führer or supreme leader of Germany. The next key term is the Non-Aggression Pact of 1939. This was an agreement between Germany and the Soviet Union in which they agreed not to attack each other. It's basically non-aggression means we're not going to attack you and you're not going to attack us. Now, this was broken by Germany later in the war, once the war gets going, with something called Operation Barbarossa, which we'll learn about when we take a look at chapter 32 this week coming up. Next is a meeting called the Munich Conference. We really want to make sure that we understand why it was held. That's the most important thing. It was a meeting, basically Great Britain, France, Germany, some other smaller entities. It was a meeting to address, hey, what's the German threat to Czechoslovakia, right? And are we going to let Germany take the Sudetenland or this piece of land or that piece of land or not? And so the policy of appeasement comes into play here, letting Germany do certain things, but not go to certain extents. So that's one of the things you're going to need to know about the Munich Conference. By the way, if you're joining us today, I see there's a really slim number compared to how we started the year. But if you are with us, please make sure that you give me a shout out in the comments so I know that you're here. Okay, so I just like to keep track of who's here and how they do on the quiz and who wasn't. It does translate that the people who show up do pretty well in the quiz. Okay, appeasement, very important. I kind of mentioned it in the last mark there, but appeasement is giving in to aggression or to an aggressor or to an aggressive country in order to keep peace. Great Britain were practicing this to appease Germany early on in the events of World War II, or you could say the events leading up to World War II. So appeasement is like, all right, Germany makes this move, and we're like, well, we're not going to go to war with them until they get to this point, and then they make this move and that move, and then you run out of space, and you're like, all right, well, we got to stop appeasement. We got to get into this war. Why does everybody want to practice appeasement? Well, nobody really wants to get into a war. I mean, it cost millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars for World War I. Nobody really wants to do that again. Nobody really wants to lose the amount of human lives that are at stake here, right? And with the new weapons of destruction that are being created, everybody's trying to avoid a major war. But Germany, Italy, Japan, what are called the Axis powers, they're like, hey, we're upset about Treaty of Versailles. We're upset about what happened to World War I. We didn't get any land. We were on the winning side, Italy and Japan. They are really trying to take back what they think is rightfully theirs. So the Axis powers, that's an alliance of Germany, Italy, and Japan. Prior to Japan getting involved, though, there was the Rome-Berlin Axis, and that's just the alliance of Germany and Italy. Okay, moving our way down to isolationism. Isolationism is a policy. It's basically a policy of staying out of foreign affairs. It's focusing on your own country's issues, focusing on your own economy, focusing on your own military. The United States was practicing strict isolationism up until the bombing of Pearl Harbor, really. The United States did not want to really get involved in any of these major wars. Next is something called the New Deal, which is also a United States-centric idea. It's a U.S. plan to recover the economy after the stock market had crashed, and it was an effort to get out of the Great Depression. I'm going to talk to you about a couple of key figures real quick, really just one. If you have questions about the other ones, they're not all that imperative, but Francisco Franco is one that there will be a question about, I can guarantee you. He's a Spanish fascist dictator. Okay, he practiced fascism like Mussolini and like Hitler, but he led the Spanish rebel troops during the Spanish Civil War. So he took over power by winning a civil war and then turned the country fascist. All right, we're going to go to the review game results real quick. So I'm going to share with you. I wrote down on a piece of paper what the results were. So just give me a second here, and I will show that to you right now. Okay, you should be able to see that seventh hour girls class scored 5 out of 5. They got every single question correct. Amanda got the stock on the margin question correct. I think she was the only student to do so throughout the day. That was that hard question number 3. So 7th hour has earned +1 on tomorrow's quiz. Congratulations, ladies. All right, we're back to the normal view. I'm going to go to the comments here, see what's happening there. It looks like a lot of folks are here. Love it. Love it. Nina is on my case about my superstitions. I understand. I don't know if it's sinful, but okay. All right. I'm still looking for some folks maybe to let me know that they're here, but let's go to question and answers. Go ahead and share any questions that you might have, and I will do my best to answer them. So I'm going to be looking in the comments now for whatever questions you might have regarding tomorrow's quiz paper. If you're here, you're a true realm baller. I agree. Okay, here we go. Weaknesses in the U.S. economy that led to the stock market crash. All right. The biggest one is that there was an uneven distribution of wealth between the rich and the poor. The richest 5% controlled like 31% of all income. So most of the money was going to the rich, whereas the poor were not getting a very big cut of that, and which is pretty normal. But that can show weakness because the vast majority of people you want spending money in stores, and if they're not able to do so, that can have ramifications on the economy, which it did in that time. Second, farmers and factories were producing more goods than people had demand for, meaning not more goods than they needed, but more goods than people were willing to buy. So they didn't want to spend that excess money on some of this extra food. And so that is problematic because farmers losing money means they can't pay off their loans to banks going out of business, as we learned, so on and so forth. So those are some of the key issues that you want to know regarding U.S. weaknesses in the economy. All right, B. Archer, can you talk about Emperor Hirohito? Man, that looks like Hercules in that little side photo. What are those called again? Yeah, the profile picture. We call those the picture wars. Sometimes the picture wars. But yeah, I think that's Mr. Gisha, but it looks like the Hercules from like Disney. So you obviously doctored that one up. But Emperor Hirohito is the leader of Japan during World War II. So we're going to be learning a lot more about him, but all you really need to know for this entity or this chapter quiz is that he was the Emperor of Japan, and he joined with Germany and Italy and wanted to kind of put Japan on the map as a powerhouse. Elena. Rome-Berlin axis is just the alliance between Germany and Italy. So Rome being Italy, Berlin being the capital of Germany. That's a good way to remember that. What were Hitler and Mussolini's tactics to gain power? All right. Number one, youth groups, trying to brainwash the youth, like Hitler Youth Program. All right. Young fascist group in Italy. Controlling the press, censoring the press, controlling what the media says, trying to make themselves look really good. I think also you want to think about the way that Hitler spoke, right? His big patriotic meetings. Mussolini did the same thing, but their speaking tactics were one way that they used to gain power, like these ebbs and flows where they talk normal and then they talk really loud. So those are some of the things that you want to be able to talk about with them rising to power. Fascism, though, Wyatt, you want to think about the fact that finding a common enemy, right? So making some type of scapegoat. Who's the bad guy? Everybody joined together against the bad guy. Both of these kind of did that. Secret police forces. They both kind of had those things going for them. Yeah, Nina, that's okay. Okay, that's not a real question. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the causes of German inflation. Well, Master Patterson, is mostly based on printing excess money. They didn't raise taxes during World War I, and so to pay the war debts and reparations, they simply printed money, and that money got into the circulatory system that was circulating throughout Germany, and it caused that super inflation. That's really the biggest idea there. It's just the excess printing of money by the German government. Danny D, what was the League of Nations response to fascist regime's expansion? Basically appeasement. They really didn't do a whole lot, Danny. They sat back, they watched, they waited, they practiced appeasement. And it wasn't until really the invasion of Poland, the invasion of Czechoslovakia, things started to add up to where they finally figured they're going to have to declare war and get involved. Chloe, what's important to know about the rape of Nanking? This is a really sad event. Japan invaded China, okay? And there's a city called Nanjing. Basically, there were thousands of atrocities against innocent women committed by the Japanese soldiers. It is a point of contention until today between the two countries. But yeah, it's fairly documented that the Japanese soldiers, after taking over this city, raped thousands of women. And so that's why it's been named that. They also killed many innocent people, which is fairly characteristic of a conquest. So it's a pretty sad event. Okay, I'm here for other questions or comments, anything that you want to talk about, anything that you need to know. All right, Grant, this is really funny. Okay, I know that I am fitting those characteristics, and one of the students said that being superstitious is sinful. So I think I'm picking up what you're laying down now, Master Grant. Okay. Yeah, Jerome, that's what I was trying to say. I mean, that's a really big point of contention between the two countries, even to this day. There is still a lot of animosity based on the rape of Nanjing. Yes. Thank you, Master Jerome. That's the real deal right there. Ooh, Amanda comes in with a good question here. What are the immediate causes of the stock market crash and bank failures? Immediate cause of the stock market crash. Buying stock on the margin was a big deal. Buying stock on the margin where, as you answered in class during the review game, you pay a small down payment to the stockbroker, and then they front you the rest of the money, hoping that the price of the stock goes up, which would mean that both of you benefit. Problem is, during this time when prices were high, prices started to drop really fast. Everybody wanted to sell at the same time. So when that happens, if you're buying stock on the margin, or even if you have money in the market at any rate, you're going to lose if you don't sell. And so, it's the fact of the matter that you had banks closing, you had prices that were really high, you had a panic, people trying to sell, and you had people buying stock on the margin, people buying stocks that really shouldn't have been able to buy stock. So to buy stock on the margin, it means you're more middle income or lower income, and you can't really afford the price of the stock. And that becomes a major problem, not only for you, but the broker. So kind of everybody loses when those prices go down. Kira, I would say that, Japan is involved. And one of Japan's big moves is the invasion of China, which kind of is one of the early moves in the war. So that's how it definitely connects to this chapter. This chapter is leading up to the start of World War II, and section 4 was entitled Aggressors Invade Nations, which is your homework that's going to be due tomorrow. That was due last week. So you want to make sure that, yes, that gets China involved. Russia's got to be on the watch, because Japan's right in their backyard. So, yeah, it's a move that kind of puts people on edge. Yeah. G. Phillips, it could be a possibility for. We don't know who G. Phillips is yet. Can somebody just give it's the last live review. So can we just learn who these false identities are? It would help me out. Anyway, G. Phil, yeah, Einstein could show up in maybe one of your responses to the short answer. As far as like the multiple choice and matching, most likely not. I didn't put him on the review sheet. So that's kind of a clue to you. But could his ideas be used to support an answer in the short answer? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Something like that, dear Baller. All right. B. Hassano. Bella. Do we need to know what happened to specific countries in the global crisis depression? You need to know Germany for sure. You need to know the United States. Then in the book, what it did was it talked about how different countries responded. Like it talked about how did the United States respond? How did Great Britain respond? How did France respond? So, yeah, I think that those are the kind of things that you really need to focus on with that question. Yeah, I definitely thought about it, but this being the last quiz, Phil, I kind of want to make this a real deal. I kind of want to make it, hey, a last official quiz, study up, make sure you're ready to rock and roll, meet the challenge, be here now. So that's what I'm going to roll with. Yeah, Big Ben. Hey, I was very impressed with you Saturday. You ran hard, buddy. I was proud of you. Really proud of you, man. You repped Commerce. Why did your old account get a ban, though? Those Commerce kids getting their accounts banned. We got to watch that. It's not good. Commerce Crips and that. See, probably said something like that. Got yourself in trouble. Ooh, Elaine has got a real question here. Okay. Were the war debts reparations only toward Germany? Yeah, for the most part. I mean, Austria maybe a little bit, but Germany was forced to take sole responsibility for World War I, remember, by the clauses in the Treaty of Versailles. So, yeah, they're the big player, the one that has to really pay back all the Allies, those debts and reparations. Oh, good use of terminology, Master Grant. Grant, you're on fire tonight, buddy. Wow. Must be those Novi chocolate bars that you bought. Yeah, something like that, dear. That's just wrong. That's just not a good move. I'm not bullying. I gave the guy a compliment. By the way, you were in Novi today, not in Commerce. So, 0.1 for Langle, Alexis 0. G. Phillips, my guess is it's Billy Hardenberg. It's definitely Hardenberg. Fumiya, that's not even worthy of being put up there. All right. Jacob? Okay. Yeah. All right. Any other questions, comments? I wasn't saying really anything bad about Commerce. I was just repping Novi, really. Jeez. A lot of Mr. Gisha pictures there. Yeah, I think G. Phillips is definitely Billy. I think he should just, I mean, that was my guess earlier in the year. So I think he should just kind of let us know that it's him, so we are aware. Anybody else? Does anybody need a therapy session? Or are we good? G. Phillips, you need a therapy session? Where's that one Billy guy? Here's a real question. Why did Hitler create youth programs? Well, basically to brainwash and assimilate the youth into Nazi ideology, fascist ideology, ultranationalism, pride for the country, but also, I think it's a brainwashing element, right? To get people to follow the plan. Anti-Semitism was a big part of those youth programs too, Sarah. So those are some of the ways that they assimilated and got those things going. Yeah, so G. Phillips pretty much confirms that that's Billy. There's going to be a Hardenberg versus Langle golf match at the Maples in Novi. The date is to be determined. I'm going to have a caddy from Novi, and he's going to have a caddy from somewhere else. But yeah, we're going to do that match. I think we could do that. I mean, and we're going to live stream it on the Realm of History Instagram. Yeah, so that everybody can watch, and you can root for Billy if you want. But hopefully I can come out with a victory there. I know Billy plays on the golf team, so it kind of be a fun matchup. Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's really a pleasure. I really, really look forward to doing these. I get a little nervous, but this is like kind of a fun thing for me to do, and I like to do that for my students, definitely. It sure is. It sure is. It's a par 3, and it's not taken very well. Maybe we can switch it to Links and Novi. Maybe we'll have to switch it to Links and Novi. But Wyatt lives in the sub. The sub is nice. The course needs some work, but Wyatt is Novi, so I need a home field advantage and I live just maybe a mile down the street, so we need a home field advantage because Billy's a really good player. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Wyatt, delete. Wyatt, delete. Wyatt, please delete. Guys, stop with the watch your back. That's going to ban me from YouTube. When you guys put these bad comments, they don't let my video go up. So like all the kids who didn't watch, they can't watch in the morning. They're going to be looking at those comments. You know how that works, okay? Hey guys, we're all family here. We don't need to get on each other's case. It's a friendly game of golf, okay? It's not like it's a boxing match or MMA, okay? Just chill out, everybody. All right, I think with that, I really want to say that I love all of you. I think we're pretty much done unless there's any final questions. I'll stay on for a few more minutes. Yeah, I've really enjoyed doing these with you, and I really love all of my students, and hopefully you'll see us all as family and that we can all get along. But I really want you to do very well in this quiz tomorrow. And if you have any questions from now until then, you can always feel free to email me or message me or even stop by the Realm. And I would be there and happy to help you if I can. Of course. Yeah, both of you guys had some pretty strong comments tonight, though, Blair. I'm a little bit worried. I hope that you're okay. We have to be ready for this quiz and focus in. Now, that's what I'd like to see, Phil. Very diplomatic. I like that. Very diplomatic of you, taking initiative there. Good job, Phil. Hi, Adri. I see you. Bella's always asking for an open quiz. She gets really stressed out, so she wants to have an open note quiz. No, Bella, we got to finish it the way that we started. We got to finish the year proper. Sorry, no open note quiz. I think we've had one open note quiz already this year. I'm pretty sure. Number 2 fave. Sign of weakness. Elaborate, please. Elaborate. What's the sign of weakness? I hope so. Let's finish it right. Nina would feel better if it was an open note quiz, I think. What's up with the picture wars, Blair? What's up with that? Did somebody hack your account? Hi, Marissa. Where's Billy? I've been using the shampoo. Yes, I agree. Rise to the occasion, take on the challenge. I also agree. Okay, T Grizzly, right? Is that T Grizzly? Yeah, something like that. Oh my gosh. What's that? Some kind of code? That's gang signs. Gang signs. Yeah, I think so. Boy, Mr. Gish is popular on the picture wars tonight. He sometimes jumps on here. He's going to see all this, You guys better be careful. Really? Really, Ben? Really? Sorry to hear that. That'd be a sign of weakness, though. I've seen the people who work at those phone stands. Sign of weakness. Yeah. No. Any other real questions? Any other real questions or comments? Anything that you want to talk about? I'm here for you. Make sure you thank your parents. Say thank you to your parents. Very important. Not a bad suggestion. I'd take a lot of heat for that, though. I think I would take a lot of heat. I know my 7th hour would come after me pretty hard. All right, I'm just going to wait about one more minute. Yeah, no, honestly, thank you to my students, and it's really been a good year. There's been not been without challenges, but it's been a good year. Here's a real question: can you talk about the reasons for appeasement and isolationism? Well, I mean, I kind of talked about appeasement earlier, just trying to avoid a major war, all the money, all the death tolls, all the weapons of destruction that were created. So those are some of the things that you got to take into account with appeasement. With isolationism, it's more so about rebuilding the economy out of the Great Depression. Uh, also trying to avoid war too. Like if you isolate yourself, you don't get involved in these foreign wars. So it's really number one, economics, and number two, avoiding war. I think those are the two best answers that I can give you. No, the boys +1 is going to go into the homework assignment. So you should see 11 out of 10 if you did your homework proper. A lot of messages coming in at the same time. All right. Well, hey, I just want to tell you one last time before we go into our final quiz. Thank you. I love all of you. I want to wish you the best tomorrow. I've really enjoyed doing the live reviews with you as much as I possibly can. I know that we missed a couple chapters because of track meets, but it's really been fun and an enjoyable experience for me. And so I would like to finish off the year on a high note tomorrow with a really good quiz score. Okay. Hey, peace and thank you. Love all of you. Have a wonderful night. God bless.